All right, we're out here at the Delta House at 1084 Prince Avenue. We are out here looking at this flat roofing portion up here. So the recommendation from the engineer is to cut this, cut the Veral roof back to the flashing, and then use seam tape and go all the way back around here. That causes a couple issues. If we were to seam tape after cutting in right here, what's going to happen is that seam tape's going to go over the top of this one, and so that's going to create a drainage issue where if you look at these seams right here, see, pull this back a little bit. So we start from the edges, right? We start from this side and we start from that side and we work our way in. What that does, keeps the seams up over the sheet that it's shedding off of. So if you look here, start here, we've got an overlap here. We've got an overlap here. We go to this side, we've got this middle piece, or this middle sheet right here is overlapped over this one, which is overlapped over this one. So this roof started here, did this sheet, left this one, came to this side, did this one, this one, this one, and then ran a cap sheet over the top. And that's going to allow for the water to shed and not be shedding into any seams. So they're over the top and bleeding down the seams and not going into it, which could damage the water shedding capability of it. So when taking this off, this flashing right here, so it's got these clips, and depending on how far these clips go back in, but this piece right here is put on after the shingles. This piece, as you can see, flaps right here. So this piece is over the top. This L flashing around the perimeter of it is, our coping metal, is over the top of this flashing kit right here. So if this was installed first, we got clips that come in here. They may very well be installed into right here to where they're coming down and they hook over. So this is set in. It's, don't know without taking it off if it's got fasteners back there. But either way, put the coping metal on, and then at that point they're going to start installing the Veral sheets over the top, as we discussed earlier. As you can see, we pulled a core sample to see what's underneath here. We do have where the Veral has stuck to the gypsum roofing. So, I mean, we're pulling that section. We can't pull this out. If we cut right here, we can't peel this back in order to put the seam tape in and then reseal it back, because it's adhered to the gypsum board. So it looks like we got 1/2-inch gypsum with the Veral and base sheet, and it's over an OSB deck. So that's part of the issue. And we get into here, we're going to be pulling this metal out. So we've got to reflash this whole curb, but in doing so, this piece of Veral goes over this lap. So we're going to have to cut all this back and pull it out, which is going to cause a lot of issues with the seam tape, okay? Because the seam tape's only going to go so far. We start pulling more into the roof, we're going to have to replace more of the roof, and that's why it makes more sense, and it would be more of a reasonable and legitimate repair to redo this entire roof instead of trying to patch a bunch of things in. I mean, we can walk around this curb and see how difficult that's going to be. I mean, we're cutting back into this, which is on top of this, so we've got to cut into here, go around, so now we're cutting into this too, and so we're gonna have to take all this out. I mean, we can't, there's no way to put that over the new Veral. So, and especially with the adhesion lines, that you look right here, I mean, this is done first, and this overlaps to create water shedding, okay? So it's not sitting right here in the seams, and water's not just hanging out there getting rid of, or damaging all this right here. So it's very important that the seams are done that way. So, I mean, we look at this whole curb. This section's gonna have to come out. I mean, you can cut, but I mean, it's still gonna damage this. So we just gotta make sure and do this properly. And so the proper way to do it is if we're gonna pull this up, we need to pull this entire sheet up.